Welcome to the future of iCare. On today's episode, I have the opportunity to sit down with JC FIRER, the President and CEO of Optomed. Welcome, JC. How you doing today?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Bob.
No, for sure. We're really excited to chat with you about what's going on at Optomed. We have some mutual acquaintances that work with you on the team there. So, I'm really kind of curious just to dig in. I mean, I was looking at your background, and you started in iCare around the same time I did in 2007. Do you mind sharing your experience and how you got to iCare?
2007. That's correct. I actually moved from Orange County to the Bay Area in 2007. So I was looking for a new opportunity in medical device. And then I found this little company called Clarity Medical in Pleasanton, which is East Bay in the Bay Area, about 45 minutes from San Francisco. And they had only one product, one camera to image the retina of newborns. And the main focus was, to document and monitor a disease called retinopathy of prematurity, which is an eye blinding disease for these newborns. So it's very important to have a timing in terms of monitoring the disease, but also the treatment. And so I started working with them in 2007, and it lasted all the way to 2017. When the company was acquired by another company based in Pleasanton called Natus Medical, not very well known in eye care because they're mostly focusing on baby care, hearing screening, brain monitoring, and they wanted to add the segment of the eye into their portfolio. So Clarity Medical at the time was trying to develop also another product in refracting application. So they decided to basically package the RedCam product for retina imaging to Natus. So that's how I came into the industry.
That's great. It's a small world. I have a number of friends and colleagues, I think, that worked with you in the past as well at both of those two companies. So it's just
really,
it's just kind of funny how small world it is. So, I mean, I saw that you were a CEO of two different companies now. I thought maybe you could share some leadership experience in terms of what you found in terms of being, a relatively recent CEO of two different companies and anything that's worked for you.
Yeah, no, very, very new into the position of CEO for sure. What I'm trying to do really, it's, the title is one thing, but what I'm trying to do is act normally and not being too wrapped up into the title. And what I've done over the past in my different experiences, with businesses is really to lead by example. I like to, give directions and advise some of my team members on, areas where I think I have a certain knowledge, but also an experience. So it's one thing to, give a vision and give leadership to the team, but you have to also show that you understand, what you're trying to achieve as a team. So vision and really leading by example is for me the foundation for my management. And coupled with that is really the ability to listen. We're in sales, basically in sales and marketing, and we're selling a technology, but we learn with our customers that we need to listen more than talking, because in the end they will give you the solution. They will lead you to what is needed, with your technology and how you can apply it to make a difference. And I do the same thing basically with my employees. So anybody has to have a voice, and everybody has a different angle of looking at a challenge, for example. And you need to listen to them and being genuine in terms of incorporating their feedback into a possible solution. So that's what I try to do on a regular basis.
That's great. Empathy is something that is really being talked about on LinkedIn a lot by some of the thought leaders in our world in sales and marketing. So it's great to hear your leadership style as well. In terms of what you're doing now, do you mind sharing a little bit more about what Optomed is and what you're doing?
So Optomed is, it's been in the industry of eye care for quite some time now. Actually, for the past 15 years, this company based in Hulu, Finland, created from scratch, basically a portable camera. So their leadership in that segment of the industry is really resonated with multiple markets around the world. They're really distributing over 60 countries, and they went public at the end of 2019, the Nasdaq in the Nordic Nasdaq. And one of the main focus for their company to go public was really to come to the US and basically open Optomed USA, which is the 100% wholly owned division of Optomed Finland. So that's where I started with the company in the middle of the pandemic in April 2020, right in the middle. So talking about adapting and having a different view on how to reach out to your customers and promote your name. In some instances, obviously, Optomed is not well known in the US. And the main reason is because originally the company decided to go through OEM partners, white labels in the US, and they started selling through Volk, for example, then partnered with Zeiss, and then finally partnered with Topcon. So when you see the portable camera through these different brands, it's basically Optomed product. That's very interesting. In Optomed, I see it as a, just to keep it humble and in terms of size, but I see it as a small Nokia in the iCare business, and having the ability to provide the best hardware solutions and then really partner with strategic partners in different areas of the market to make a difference. It's always very important for any company, I believe, to try to really focus on what they do best, and then have partnerships, strategic partnerships with other companies to achieve ultimately what the customer wants. And trying to do everything for every customer is sometimes maybe a little bit more risky and hard to achieve.
As soon as I heard about what you were doing, I thought there was a natural fit with potentially some of my mutual customer base. So we're evaluating the handheld, the
Yep.
Aura. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that handheld Aura?
Yeah, the handheld Aura is basically the latest version of this portable platform. It has basically enhanced software solutions to bring artificial intelligence ultimately into the camera. We are currently going through 2 clinical trials in the US to work with AI partners. So when I talk about strategic partners, AI partners are also strategic partners for us. We decided, or the company decided from the very beginning, that, for example, in AI, we were not able to, create our own platforms. And the best route for us, the best approach to the market was really to partner with, several of these AI platforms to be able to deliver the best to the customer, but ultimately to remain long-term partners with the most, highly performing algorithms in this market. So the device itself can take amazing, retina images by itself, but now coupled with AI, I think we'll be able to provide customers with multiple solutions and having the ability to assess, large populations, to screen them first, identify the disease, and have now the professionals to care for these patients, basically.
Sure. I think the portability of the device, along with the quality of the imaging, is something that, given where we're kind of headed right now, right, with the pandemic and as well as just the future of access to care, I think that portability gives a lot of providers some flexibility, maybe if they want to open multiple locations or if they want to do in-service or things like that. I think there's a lot of flexibility with that portable option. Just out of curiosity, what do you see for the future of iCare? When it doesn't necessarily have to be what you are doing or what I'm doing. It could be anything within optical or ophthalmology. Is there anything in particular that's caught your eye that you think is particularly interesting for the future of iCare?
Well, for me, as I mentioned, artificial intelligence is new to me, and one aspect of my interest in Optomed early on was that they were already talking about partnering with some of these AI platforms. And it's really looking at the retina as a window to, the brain. And this is the mapping to potentially diagnose and monitor some potential neurologic abnormalities and disease. And I think now it's just the beginning. We're working on diabetic retinopathy screening. We're trying to educate ourselves to learn more as a group. I'm talking about healthcare professionals, the customers, our partners, and trying to see how we can better integrate artificial intelligence in the workflow of everyday professionals in eye care and healthcare at large. So for me, this is really the area of the most potential and excitement for us in the future. Is not only we're working with diabetic retinopathy right now at this time, but also tomorrow, the ability to really look at the retina as a biomarker for additional neural disease that can be monitored and cared for early on. And early prevention is really something that we focus on, obviously, to basically, really go after the patients that have the most exposure to potential disease.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting what you were saying. We have some experience with the AI on our side as well. And I think right now in eye care, a lot of the doctors that I speak to are kind of like, so what? I can already detect diabetic retinopathy. But the things that we're seeing or that we know are coming are, for example, like hypertensives. There are hypertensive markers, there are stroke markers, and then there's a whole other host of things that I don't think we've even discovered yet. Could be Alzheimer's markers that I know some companies were working on a long time ago, not with AI, but just with drusen deposits. So I think that there's a lot of places that just medicine in general will benefit, not necessarily eye care. So I think you're right on that. I think AI is going to really open up a whole new umbrella, but it's always funny to see how the current state always kind of rejects, the masses kind of reject what you have because they say, well, I can already do it. But it's what's coming behind it that I think is really fascinating.
Yeah, and I think this is important for, I think, doctors to understand at large that AI is definitely not there to replace the knowledge, the human knowledge, the educations. It's really there to facilitate the workflow, the movement of these patients, from early detection to care and then treatment. And in some instances, for me, I see AI as a facilitator to really bring the doctors back closer to the patient, having more time to spend with the patient, focusing on the disease and the solutions, rather than just spending their time on, managing the early detection and documentation of the disease. In essence, the doctor is at some point shouldn't have to think about, okay, how do we take this image of the retina? Is it the right approach? Do we need to dilate this patient? They should really bypass all that and just focus on the patient and the disease, and really work closely with them as partners to find solutions for them. So I think that's it's very exciting for the future, and I hope that I will see more of these AI applications before I retire, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Well, I certainly appreciate your insight. It was definitely interesting to hear about what's going on at Optomed. I look forward to possibly working with you as well as a channel partner with what we're doing. So certainly excited to see the growth that Optomed's going to have in the U.S.
Thank you, Bob, for the opportunity to talk to you today.
Sure. Have a great week.
Take care. Bye.